Hello and welcome to another episode of The Mindset Forge, a podcast where we discuss the best ideas of humanity, the most useful practices, and the most skillful means for developing a more well-adjusted and adaptive mindset. To do this, I will be discussing latest science, ancient philosophy that has stood the test of time, as well as the thoughts and actions of important historical paragons. The goal is to give you tools and practices and ideas for your self-improvement, with the goal of moving ahead the entire humanity. Our discussion will focus on the ideas and practices with the most cash value, so practices that are easy to take up but hold enormous potential. And since most of these practices have to do with changing your thinking and attitudes, they are completely free. Call me Laurent Lohel, I will be your host, and welcome aboard. Also, make sure to like Mindset Forge on Spotify and YouTube, as well as check out our Discord server, where you can find links to my book, which you can buy on Amazon to support my another side enterprise of being a fiction author. Without further ado, let's get to the episode. Mindset Forge, episode 24. Taking up spirituality, the scientific thing to do. Don't go by reports, by legends, by traditions, by scripture, by logical conjecture, by inference, by analogies, by agreement through pondering views, by probability, or by the thought. This contemplative is our teacher. When you know for yourself that these qualities are skillful, these qualities are blameless, these qualities are praised by the wise. These qualities, when adopted and carried out, lead to welfare and to happiness. Then you should enter and remain in them. The Buddha in the Kalama Sutta. Welcome back to Mindset Forge, good listeners. Today we embark on a profound journey, one that has captivated the human imagination for millennia, the realm of spirituality. But before we dive deep, let's clarify what we mean by spirituality. At its core, spirituality is a broad concept that encompasses a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves, be it a higher power, the universe, nature, or even a sense of profound interconnectedness with all of life. Now, if you are picturing ornate temples, age-old scriptures, or mystic rituals, we invite you to broaden your perspective. While our exploration will touch upon ancient wisdom and beliefs, our primary anchor remains rooted in science and empirical evidence. We are not here to convert or prescribe, but rather to share fascinating findings on the myriad benefits that spiritual practices can offer, as affirmed by contemporary research. And as we navigate this vast topic, we'll also indulge in some philosophical reflections, considering the deeper implications and innate value of spiritual pursuits. Whether you are a skeptic, a believer, or someone merely curious, our goal is to provide insights and knowledge. How you choose to interpret and integrate this information into your life is entirely up to you. So, with an open mind and a curious heart, let's delve into the intriguing intersection of spirituality, science, and philosophy. Let's begin with some definitions from a paper called Research on Religion, Spirituality, and Mental Health. I will also be quoting from this paper in other parts of this podcast without stating it out every time. The definition of religion is generally agreed on and involves beliefs, practices, and rituals related to the sacred. I define the sacred as that which relates to the numinous, meaning mystical, supernatural, or God, and in Eastern religious traditions, to ultimate truth or reality. Religion may also involve beliefs about spirits, angels, or demons. Religions usually have specific beliefs about life after death and rules about conduct that guide life within a social group. Religion is often organized and practiced with a community, but it can also be practiced alone and in private. However, central to its definition is that religion is rooted in an established tradition that arises out of a group of people with common beliefs and practices concerning the sacred. In contrast with religion, spirituality is more difficult to define. It is a more popular expression today than religion, as many view the latter as divisive and associated with war, conflict, and fanaticism. Spirituality is considered more personal, something people define for themselves that is largely free of the rules, regulations, and responsibilities associated with religion. In fact, there is a growing group of people categorized as spiritual but not religious, who deny any connection at all with religion and understand spirituality entirely in individualistic, secular terms. However, this contemporary use of spirituality is different from its original meaning. As we delve into the empirical aspect of spirituality, it's crucial to understand that for many researchers, spirituality isn't just a matter of faith, it's an area of genuine scientific inquiry. Let's dive into the psychological benefits that have been attributed to spirituality according to various scientific studies. Improved mental health. One cannot discuss the scientific exploration of spirituality without mentioning the work of Dr. Harold G. Koenig. In his research, Koenig meticulously examined the relationship between religion, spirituality, and mental health. His findings suggested that individuals with a strong spiritual foundation or religious belief system exhibited better mental health outcomes, especially when coping with stress and life's adversities. Enhanced well-being and life satisfaction. Spirituality for many serves as a reservoir of hope, purpose, and meaning. In a cross-national study, it was found that there's a positive correlation between religiousness and happiness. The study highlighted that those who were more religious reported higher levels of well-being and satisfaction in life, irrespective of the nation or its predominant faith. Reduced risk of depression. The protective shield that spirituality can offer against the crippling effects of depression is notable. A study indicated that not only does religiousness reduce the risk of depression, but its effects become even more pronounced during times of significant life stress. Individuals with a robust spiritual or religious belief system were found to be more resilient in the face of stressful life events, further emphasizing the role of spirituality as a buffer against mental health challenges. Prior to the year 2000, more than 100 quantitative studies had examined the relation between religion and depression. Among 93 observational studies, 2/3 found significantly lower rates of depressive disorder or fewer depressive symptoms among the more religious. Prior to the year 2000, at least 76 studies had examined the relation between religious involvement and anxiety. 69 studies were observational and 7 were randomly controlled trials. Among the observational studies, 35 found significantly less anxiety or fear among the more religious, 24 found no association, and 10 reported greater anxiety. However, all 10 of the latter studies were cross-sectional, and anxiety and/or fear is a strong motivator for religious activity. While positive forms of religious coping may reduce anxiety in highly stressful circumstances, negative forms of religious conflict may exacerbate it. For example, one recent study of women with gynecological cancer found that women who felt that God was punishing them had deserted them or did not have the power to make a difference, or felt deserted by their faith community, had significantly higher anxiety. These results persisted after multiple statistical controls and are consistent with other studies in medical patients. The intersection of spirituality and psychology unveils a fascinating landscape where beliefs, practices, and rituals can tangibly impact our mental well-being. As science continues to explore this realm, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Spirituality is not merely a concept. It's a potent force that can shape and uplift the human psyche. Systematic research in many countries around the world finds that religious coping is widespread. For the general population, research published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that 90% of Americans coped with the stress of September 11, 2001 by turning to religion. During the week following the attacks, 60% of Americans attended a religious or memorial service, and Bible sales rose 27%. Even prior to the year 2000, more than 60 studies had documented high rates of religious coping in patients with an assortment of medical disorders, ranging from arthritis to diabetes to cancer. Researchers concluded that religion serves as a pervasive and potentially effective method of coping for persons with mental illness, thus warranting its integration into psychiatric and psychological practice. Spirituality's profound impact isn't confined to the realms of the minds. Its influences extend to our very physiology, affecting how our bodies respond to stress, illness, and the challenges of daily life. Better immune function. The link between spiritual practices and improved immune function is fascinating. Dr. Harold G. Koenig, in his 1997 publication called Is Religion Good for Your Health? Effects of Religion on Mental and Physical Health, posits that religious involvement has a tangible positive effect on the immune system. His research suggests that those engaged in regular spiritual practices or having deep-rooted spiritual beliefs exhibit better immune responses, potentially reducing susceptibility to illnesses. In a study of 1,718 older adults in North Carolina, Dr. Koenig et al. Found that those who attended services at least once a week were about half as likely as non-attenders to have elevated levels of interleukin-6, an immune system protein involved in a wide array of age-related diseases. This effect persisted, albeit to a lesser degree, even when researchers accounted for factors like depression, chronic illnesses, and negative life events that were likely to affect immune status. Lower blood pressure and reduced stress. The tranquility often found in spiritual pursuits can have real, measurable effects on our cardiovascular system. A study illustrated that those with consistent spiritual or religious practices often have lower blood pressure, especially in stressful situations. This ties in with the broader notion of spirituality offering a refuge and coping mechanism in the turbulent seas of life's stresses. Longer lifespan. Could spirituality be the key to longevity? A study by Hammer et al., published in 1999, suggests a tantalizing correlation. The research indicates that individuals with regular religious involvement or deep spiritual convictions tend to live longer. While the reasons can be multifaceted, from better community support to healthier lifestyles encouraged by religious teachings. The connection between spirituality and longevity is a promising avenue for further exploration. People who never attend exhibit 1.87 times the risk of death in the follow-up period compared with people who attend religious services more than once a week. This translates into a 7-year difference in life expectancy at age 20 between those who never attend and those who attend more than once a week. Health selectivity is responsible for a portion of the religious attendance effect. People who do not attend church or religious services are also more likely to be unhealthy and consequently to die. However, religious attendance also works through increased social ties and behavioral factors to decrease the risks of death. Social benefits. The tendrils of spirituality weave through not just our minds and bodies, but also our social interactions, profoundly influencing how we relate to and interact with others. Enhanced social support. The communal aspect of many spiritual practices fosters a deep sense of belonging. 1994 research illustrates that religious involvement often translates to stronger social ties and increased social support. These bonds, forged in shared faith or spiritual pursuits, can serve as a bulwark against loneliness and isolation. Better moral reasoning and pro-social behavior. Spirituality can be a compass guiding individuals towards moral and ethical choices. A 2006 meta-analysis draws a connection between religiousness and factors like altruism, conscientiousness, and pro-social behavior. It suggests that spirituality can be a driving force behind actions that benefit not just the individual but the broader community. The multifaceted advantages of spirituality underscore its significance in holistic well-being. It's not just a metaphysical concept, but a vital component influencing our physical health, psychological state, and social interactions. The effects of religion aren't all positive, as anyone who has the slightest knowledge of history can tell. To quote from an article called Spirituality, Religion and Health, Evidence and Research Directions, negative effects of religion. Attention has also been given to the potential for negative effects of religion on health. Historically, religion has sometimes been used to justify hatred, aggression, and prejudice. It can be judgmental, alienating, and exclusive. Moreover, although religious participation may foster beneficial social networks, social relations may also be a source of stress. Failure to conform to community norms may evoke open criticism by other congregation members or clergy. Feelings of religious guilt and the failure to meet religious expectations or cope with religious fears can contribute to illness. Parents' reliance on faith healing instead of appropriate medical care has led to negative outcomes and death for many children. Certain types of religious coping may also adversely affect health. An extrinsic religious orientation and negative religious coping has been associated with elevated symptoms of depression, and negative interpersonal religious experiences and congregational criticism have been associated with increased risk of depression among adolescents. A longitudinal cohort study of medically ill patients found that religious doubts and struggle were associated with a higher risk of mortality. There is also interest in the potential contribution of religious participation to obesity, but the data are equivocal. Some studies have found that, independent of socioeconomic status and health behaviors, body mass index varied by religious denomination, and that religious attendance was positively associated with weight. However, a recent US national study found that the association between religious attendance and overweight obesity could be explained by socio-demographic and health variables. This is likely one of the main reasons why more and more people identify as spiritual but not as religious, as that can be seen as a way to cut straight to the root of the matter past centuries or even millennia of baggage, dogma and custom. Moving on to more philosophical perspectives, let's take a look at value systems. Spirituality and religion have been the cornerstones of human societies, shaping our ethical structures, norms and codes of conduct. Friedrich Nietzsche probed deeply into the decline of Christian faith in Europe. Nietzsche contended that Christianity, for all its perceived shortcomings, had been pivotal in grounding societal morals. Its waning influence, he feared, could leave a moral vacuum, leading to what he famously termed the death of God. This wasn't a literal statement, but rather a comment on the erosion of shared moral compass, highlighting the profound societal role that spirituality often plays. He compared that without religion or the Christian faith as a compass, it was like the earth had become untethered from the sun, hurtling freely into darkness. Worldviews and spiritual frameworks. Beyond just morals, spirituality offers a lens through which the cosmos can be understood. In the vast expanse of the universe, with its myriad mysteries, spirituality provides a sanctuary of purpose and belonging. Facing existential dilemmas like the transient nature of life, the inevitability of death, and the search for life's meaning, spirituality gives a framework to navigate these profound questions, offering solace where reason alone might falter. Interconnection and oneness. Delving into Eastern philosophies provides insights into a more interconnected vision of life. Both Buddhism and Taoism emphasize the inherent oneness of all beings. While Buddhism teaches the interdependence of all phenomena, Taoism reveals the natural harmony and balance in the universe. Both philosophies encourage transcending the self to realize a broader connection with the world, fostering compassion, understanding, and unity. Modern spirituality and secular society. As societies evolve, so too does spirituality. The contemporary world witnesses an intriguing trend, the rise of secular spirituality. Increasing numbers are now exploring spiritual practices unanchored from religious dogma. This movement seeks spiritual depth without adhering to traditional religious structures, suggesting that the human yearning for spiritual connection is intrinsic and not solely tied to religious beliefs. However, this rise of secularism raises compelling questions. In an age dominated by science and reason, what role does traditional spirituality play? Can the empirical and the spiritual coexist harmoniously? And while science has gifted us unparalleled insights into the workings of the universe, it's inherently ill-equipped to tackle questions of value, purpose, and meaning. It can elucidate the how, but grapples with the why. It can map out consequences, but remains silent on the qualitative judgment of those outcomes. In essence, while science can chart the stars and decode DNA, it cannot tell us how to navigate the labyrinth of human experience or how to derive meaning in seemingly indifferent cosmos. Thus, as we hurtle into the future, the dance between science and spirituality promises to be both intricate and enlightening, challenging us to find balance between reason and reverence, fact and faith. The scientific approach and worldview has given us a lot of important technology that cannot be denied. We can communicate to the other side of the world in an instant, and diseases that were lethal or life-altering in the past can now be cured. At the same time, it is a common experience that we have been cut from communication with the people around us, nature and ourselves. So what good are the communication capabilities of a smartphone, really? And despite all these medical advantages, anxiety, depression, and obesity are at all-time high. So I think it is clear that science alone, at least as we currently understand it, cannot answer all our problems. For many people, especially young Westerners, it is quite impossible to just start to believe in some god, afterlife, or otherworldly creatures. So how can people like this, like myself, get the benefits of spirituality for themselves if they have zero faith in their systems? Perhaps the answer is secular or atheistic religions or wisdom traditions, most well known of which is Buddhism in its various branches or vehicles, and the way of the Tao, followed by New Age beliefs and so on. All these provide one with some type of purpose, connection to something higher, a code to live by, and more, without the need to blindly believe in almighty entities living in different dimensions who use their infinite lives to judge people. As we draw our exploration of spirituality to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we have undertaken today. We began by examining the tangible empirical benefits of spiritual practices, from the psychological advantages to improved mental well-being to the physical perks like enhanced immune function. Spirituality isn't just about the mind and soul. It has real, measurable impacts on our bodies as well. We then ventured into the more abstract realm of philosophy, contemplating the profound influence of spirituality on our value systems, worldviews, and the deep-seated human need for interconnectedness. And in a world that's rapidly gravitating towards secularism, we pondered over the essence of modern spirituality and the age-old dance between science and the spiritual. Remember, good listeners, that the essence of spirituality in its all myriad forms is a deeply personal journey. Whether you resonate with religious doctrines, secular mindfulness, or simply a sense of wonderment at the universe, there's no right or wrong path. The beauty lies in the search, the questions, and the moment of awe and connection we all experience. I hope today's episode has offered you insights, sparked your curiosity, or perhaps even provided a moment of introspection. As you move forward, may you carry these reflections with you, discovering and redefining what spirituality means in your own unique journey. Thank you for joining us on Mindset Forge. Until next time, take care and may your days be filled with wonder and purpose. And thank you for listening to this episode of the Mindset Forge. I hope you found it informative and the lessons and practices spoken in it relevant to your situation. I also hope you found it as entertaining to listen as I found making it to be. If you found it beneficial, be sure to follow Mindset Forge on Spotify as well as on YouTube, where you can also give us a thumbs up. Also, make sure to check out our Discord server for further discussion, where you can contact me directly. Links in description and channel information. There you can also find the link to my book, which I have self-published on Amazon, called Death Drive. If speculative dystopian near-future sci-fi sounds like a cup of tea, getting the book is a great way to support my work as an author. So have a nice day and memento cerebrum formare.